What advice would I give to an 18-year-old me? Well, whatever advice I'd give to an 18-year-old me, I'd never listen. I've only ever learnt from my own mistakes, I think. I can be told something till the cows come home and repeated and repeated. I have to make my own mistakes, really. So whatever I'd have said, I'd have ignored. But the advice that I would give, in term, just to go with it, not worry about things too much, and just to be yourself.
What about the island most inspires you to be creative?
There is a thing about islands, which is that they are one step removed, and that it allows you literally some physical objectivity, so that by being apart from the hubbub and the general melee, that you can just see things a little bit differently, a little bit more askance. And I think from the creative viewpoint, that's really essential. And I think the island has always done that. I think a lot of people have come here to do the creative part of what they do, not necessarily to present it here, but the likes of Charles Darwin coming here, he came here to write Origin of Species was written on the Isle of Wight. Dickens coming here to write, it's not famous for that, but it is somewhere where it gives you I think a sense of relaxation, a sense of, it removes the stress to some extent. It removes the competition as well, I think. And I think this isn't true of the Isle of Wight. I think it's true of any island. That, there's a lack of competition and more of a general community collective support that is nurturing of creativity. I've chosen the island as a base because when I'm not here, I miss it. So I lived for several years in other places, in this country and other countries. And when I decided to move back to the island, it was knowing that it was probably going to be to raise a family. Both my parents here and my wife's parents here on the island, that family network, that support was quite important for me. I think the thing I'm most proud of, my second album, I think just because we sort of did it ourselves, I wrote it pretty much in a week, we recorded it in a week, we mixed it in a week, 2 weeks, and I listen to that now and I love it. Well, my first gig was when I was 12, and I've been just playing ever since then, and so semi-professional since then, really. So I never made a conscious effort to make it a career, except after 20 years in the book trade, things were getting a bit ridiculous. I was always balancing my music career alongside that very, very nicely, and I think it gave a really nice perspective to make me enjoy my music more. I was at a time when I could have stepped up and made a career out of music, but I couldn't afford to leave the job, and I was praying for redundancy, and lo and behold, it came up. I'd had this phone call. I was away doing some TV in Germany, and I had this phone call that said my boss really nervous to inform me that my job was going to be up for redundancy, and I was clicking my heels together. I could leave, it would give me enough of a buffer to be able to do music full time. So I did music full time for 3 years and hated it. I hated it because I was performing as myself, and I was promoting myself, and everything was about me. And having worked all my life, very hard. I'm not a shirker, but not having that routine, I found quite difficult. But I also found quite difficult just the whole thing focused around me.
If you could change one thing about the island, what would it be?
Funding for the island. I suppose funding would be the one thing. If I knew I was going to die at midnight, I would spend my last hours here, at home with the family. Yeah,